And I can say this, and this is not an excuse. My son never indulged in drugs around me. You got to realize I'm his dad, bro. And I was a disciplinarian. I was strict, structured. So certain things I didn't see. I never saw Quan pop a pill in front of me. I saw him smoke weed. I saw him drink liquor. But certain things I never saw him do. But in my mind, I knew when he was higher than normal. And I would address it with him. I used to tell him like, hey man, whatever you going through in life, your ass ain't in a pill bottle or liquor bottle, man. I used to tell him.
But they're saying it's over an overdose. That's some fake ass pills, bro. 9 times out of 10, it's probably them fake ass pills. Like, I don't knock nobody who do what they do, but it's too fucking dangerous to get anything off the streets. Like, you gambling with your life when you swallow that pill that you got from your homeboy. Even if he said he got it from the doctor, like, don't believe it. If you didn't go to a doctor and get that shit as your medication, don't take it. Even if somebody's selling it to you, got the pill bottle. There could be an old pill bottle they had and they putting new fake pills in it. Like, it's a dangerous game if you out here taking drugs. You gotta really like pay attention.
It's been more than a year since Rich Homie Quan passed, but the streets are still buzzing with loud questions and wild whispers. People in Atlanta and fans online keep saying the overdose story just doesn't sit right. New talk is spreading fast, and some folks are claiming his death wasn't just a tragic OD at all. They're saying it might have been an inside setup by someone close to him, maybe even someone from his own circle. Before diving into that, let's run this back real quick. On September 5th, 2024, Rich Homie Quan was found unresponsive by his girlfriend, Amber Williams. She said he was foaming at the mouth, and she dialed 911 right away.
Since this morning. Well, he never came to bed last night, sleep on the couch. I left him on the couch before I took my son to school this morning, put a blanket over him, and now I just checked on him again because he never got up. I don't feel a heartbeat. I don't see him breathe.
At first glance, the situation looked like a straightforward medical emergency. The official report called it an accidental overdose, a heavy mix of fentanyl, codeine, promethazine, and THC. The way authorities framed it made it look like just another heartbreaking case of a famous artist losing control, a neat, quick, closed story. But the streets weren't buying that version for even a minute. Right after the news dropped, fans started questioning everything. People were saying Quan had been trying to get clean. They wondered if he would really be taking that kind of mix. That's when things started turning even more suspicious, because fans began digging deeper and connecting dots that weren't matching up. Then out of nowhere, Young Thug's name started getting dragged into the conversation. People in the city started whispering that his name kept popping up in the background of the situation. The streets began saying that some folks believed Thug might have had something to do with Quan's death, a claim that instantly sent shock through the whole scene. That theory started heating up fast because people remembered how tight their bond used to be. Thug and Quan came into the game together on some real brother-type energy, but somewhere along the line, they drifted apart. When folks started digging deeper, they realized the split wasn't even personal like people once thought. Young Thug even spoke on it, saying the music game was acting like a puppet master, pulling strings and keeping them from linking back up the way they wanted. Once that clip started spreading, the streets caught on immediately. The idea of Thug harming Quan didn't make sense anymore, and that whole theory started losing steam. One dude online wrote, "Thug love Quan and Woody. They care about each other too much to hurt each other." Another person said, "Thug and Quan was like Shaq and Kobe. They made straight classics together." With comments like that, a big question popped up again. If it wasn't Thug, then who could have done something like this? That's when things took a darker, more twisted turn. People started whispering about the ones closest to Quan, the people he trusted the most. Folks began asking how something so serious could even happen unless it was someone on the inside. And now that parts of the case are being reviewed again, those whispers are getting louder every week. Some voices on the street are suggesting it could have been someone from his own circle, maybe even someone related to him. Quan's father is still carrying that pain heavy on his heart. And when he talks about that night, you can hear how real the grief hits him every time. The way he breaks down shows how close their relationship truly was. Quan's pops didn't just see him as a son, he saw him as everything he wished he had growing up.
This chair I'm sitting there alone, I don't wish this on nobody, man. Like, I honestly...
He never had a father around, so he made sure to stand by Quan from the very beginning, building a bond that ran deep and solid. Quan leaned on his pops heavy, He opened up to him, shared his wins, his struggles, everything he carried inside. So when his father got the call saying Quan supposedly passed from an overdose, the whole thing hit him wrong instantly. It didn't match the son he knew so well. Quan wasn't someone who messed with pills like that, according to his father. He smoked, he drank here and there, but those pills they claimed were in his system, his pops said that wasn't his lane at all. And that's why the words foul play started entering the convo real fast.
I envision my son getting older and pulling up, kicking it with me on some grown man shit, bro. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to have them time, man, while I was old and we just kicked it and we talked about what we did.
His father has been clear from the jump that the overdose explanation doesn't make sense to him. And when a parent knows their child's habits, their lifestyle, and their limits, that carries weight. Then the toxicology report raised even more eyebrows. People in the streets were saying it came back way too fast for something so serious. Normally, full blood work, lab tests, and verification take a longer process. That's when people started saying something about this whole timeline just wasn't sitting right. And once you stack that on top of Quan's father insisting his son wasn't on pills, the theory of foul play started picking up major momentum. Now let's get into the morning everything went down. Amber Williams, his girlfriend at the time, said she found him unresponsive and foaming at the mouth. She called 911 right away, at least that's what the reports say. But here's the part that had people online talking nonstop. Listeners pointed out how calm her tone sounded on the call, almost too calm for the situation. Some even joked she sounded like someone placing a normal order instead of reporting an emergency. Then came another detail that had folks side-eyeing the whole situation. She asked the operator to add Quan's dad onto the call, and the timing of that move felt strange to a lot of people watching the case unfold. Some street investigators online started pointing at that moment like something felt off, not accusing Amber directly, but wondering how she stayed so calm during a situation that intense. People kept asking how she walked in, saw all that, and still sounded collected on the call. And by the time she got back from taking the kids to school, a lot of crucial minutes had already passed, which made some folks wonder if she knew more than she shared. Then things got even louder once Quan's brother Andre entered the conversation. Footage and interviews that dropped showed Andre saying he found Quan on the kitchen floor with food still in his mouth. But instead of calling right away, he moved him to the couch, and some online corners called that sus behavior, even though nobody knows his reasoning for sure. After Quan passed, Andre posted wearing Quan's clothes with laughing emojis, which stirred up more heated reactions. Rumors even spread that he tried to sell obituaries and reached out to Future for a collab just days after Quan's passing. Again, all claims being pushed by people online, not confirmed facts.
And I can say this, and this is not an excuse. My son never indulged in around me. You got to realize I'm his dad, bro. And I was a disciplinarian. I was strict, structured. So certain things I didn't see. I never saw Quan pop a pill in front of me. I saw him smoke weed. I saw him drink liquor. But certain things I never saw him do. But in my mind, I knew when he was higher than normal. And I would address it with him. I used to tell him like, hey man, whatever you going through in life, your ass ain't in a pill bottle or liquor bottle, man. I used to tell him.
These reactions made some folks ask heavy questions like, did he know his brother was gone already? Or was he taking pictures for someone? Some even wondered if this could fit into the inside job theory. These questions have been floating around the internet for a while, but now the spotlight is swinging back onto Andre and everyone in Quan's inner circle. Fans are digging into everything, looking at Amber, Andre, and even Kia Brown, a random lady who was in the house the morning everything happened. People online said Kia's behavior came off a little shaky when authorities started asking questions. Some claimed she looked ready to leave the house, while others said she kept giving vague answers about who else was there that morning. None of it proved anything, but it definitely had the internet watching her closely. Then you mix that with side friends and people from Quan's circle popping up on social media, dropping their own stories about his habits, and the whole situation starts feeling even more tangled. Everyone who was inside that house, 4 people total, plus anyone who saw Quan struggling before help was called, all became pieces of a bigger puzzle that still doesn't have clear edges. Street analysts online also pointed out something that had folks freezing for a second. Hurricane Chris came out saying he believed Quan might have been poisoned, not by accident, not from a random bad pill, but something done on purpose. That statement alone had the internet spinning with theories. Then people started connecting another rumor to it. Word online said Quan was supposedly expected to testify in a YSL-related situation. Folks were whispering that he was trying to get his life straight, step back into the world clean, rebuild his name, and finally speak up. Some voices online believed that taking him out quietly would have stopped him from saying anything that could shake things up. That idea, mixed with the whispers coming from people around his family, made the whole conversation even messier. And people haven't forgotten the old YSL angle either. Some fans still bring up the barbershop situation where Quan's father was reportedly shot at in Atlanta, and they wonder if that old tension somehow ties into all these new rumors now. Some of the earliest theories floating around the streets pointed at plain industry jealousy. People were saying certain folks didn't like how Quan had a solid father figure, how he stayed grounded, and how he wasn't out here moving reckless like others. At one point, some fans even tossed Young Thug's name into the mix, but once people started digging deeper, that angle faded quick because the streets said Thug had nothing to gain from hurting him.
So would you say that during that time period, you and Thug were really like close friends, or was it just like a convenient musical relationship and Birdman was really the thing that was keeping y'all together?
No, that was my dog. That was my dog.
Right.
Definitely my dog. It was Birdman wouldn't keep me together. Shit, I met Bird through Thug.
Right.
I wouldn't have met Bird if it was you know what I mean?
Insiders claimed he always showed respect toward Quan, and folks in court said he went ice cold when he heard about Quan's passing, like he felt that pain on a real brother level. That's when the name Birdman started popping up in online conversations. Fans kept saying he was a powerful industry figure who supposedly helped bring Quan and Thug together early on, something Quan himself once mentioned. But as their bond grew stronger musically, financially, and influence-wise, fans online claimed Birdman might have stepped in behind the scenes. None of this is proven, but these are the whispers people kept repeating on social media. Some fans began speculating that maybe he pulled strings to keep Quan and Thug from becoming too unstoppable as a duo. And once people started talking about manipulation and behind-the-curtain power moves, the idea of Quan being lined up by somebody close didn't sound impossible to certain corners of the internet. Between the insiders spreading their own versions, the social media chatter heating up, and people connecting unrelated dots, a picture started forming online. One full of rumors about setups, control, and maybe even betrayal by someone in his circle. People online kept saying Quan trusted the wrong folks, and one dude posted something that hit the streets hard. He said, "Man, 9 times out of 10, when I hear the name Birdman and business together, I know it's some BS attached to it." Another person wrote, "He was the snake in all of this." Even though none of this is confirmed, these are the types of comments that had the whole situation getting hotter and more confusing by the day. Right now, fans are giving serious side-eye to everyone who was close to Quan. His girlfriend, his brother, family members, anybody who had access to him. People online keep asking who could have gotten him anything, who knew his habits, who knew his morning routine, and who was moving around him at the exact moment everything went down. The internet detectives haven't let up for a second. And when you combine all that with the way Quan's father is still hurting and still saying the story doesn't make sense, the belief that Quan didn't pass from a simple overdose feels stronger than ever to a lot of fans. So here's the real question everyone keeps asking. If the overdose explanation ain't lining up, then who was really around Quan that morning and who had the most to gain? Was this truly a setup from someone inside his own circle? If you've got thoughts on all this, drop them in the comments. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit that next video because things are about to get even wilder.